Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered why some websites just pop up at the top of Google while others are totally buried on page 10? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle is something called on-page SEO, and today we're going to break down exactly what that is and how you can use it to get seen.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics. Then I'll give you a really simple model to think about all this stuff. After that, we'll run through a high-impact checklist you can literally use today. We'll even peek into the future and see how this all plays into AI search. Sound good? Let's go.
First things first, let's get super clear on what we're actually talking about when we say on-page SEO. This is really the foundation that everything else is built on.
You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Imagine your website is your house. Well, on-page SEO is everything you do inside that house to get it ready for guests. You're making sure the hallways are clear, you're labeling the rooms, basically making it super easy for visitors and, search engines to find exactly what they're looking for.
Okay, so for the more textbook definition, it's all about the improvements you make directly on your web page and in its code. This is the stuff you can see, like your content and your headings, but it's also the behind-the-scenes stuff, like metadata. The key takeaway here, it's all the stuff you have direct control over.
And I think this chart really makes it clear. On-page SEO is what you do on your site. Then you've got off-page SEO, that's stuff like getting links from other websites, which happens somewhere else. And technical SEO is all about your site's foundation, like its speed. But look at that last row. Where do you have the most control? Right here with on-page.
And hey, don't think for a second that this is some old-school advice. This is straight from Google. Even with all the fancy AI they've got going on, they're telling us that the most fundamental signal of relevance is still the words you use on your page. It all starts there.
Okay, so to make this all a bit easier to handle, let's build a simple mental model. This is a three-part framework you can use for any page you're working on, and it really helps make the whole process feel less overwhelming.
It pretty much boils down to these three things: relevance, understandability, and experience. No matter what you're doing, whether you're writing a headline or adding a photo, it should be improving one of these three pillars.
First up, relevance. This one's simple, but it's crucial. Is your page actually helpful? Does it answer the question someone typed into Google? Does it match what they're trying to do? It has to be genuinely useful for a real person. Second, understandability. See, it's not enough for a human to get it. You have to make it incredibly easy for the search engine bots, the crawlers that scan the web, to figure out what your page is all about. You've got to give them a really clear signals.
And finally, experience. This is a big one. Google now primarily uses the mobile version of a site for ranking, so your page absolutely positively has to be fast and easy to use on a phone. If the experience is clunky, all your other work can go right out the window.
All right, so with that three-part model in our back pocket, let's get super practical. Here is a high-impact checklist. These are the things you can do that will make the biggest difference right away.
These four are the bread and butter, folks. Think about it. Your title and H1 are your big, bold headlines. Your meta description, that's your advertisement in the search results, the thing that makes someone click. Internal links, create a map of your site. And alt text, that's how you explain your images to search engines. Getting these four right is just non-negotiable.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Homepage. What does that even tell you? Nothing. But look at the after. You've got the service, emergency plumber. You've got the location, Toronto. You even have a key benefit, 24/7. It perfectly answers a very specific, very urgent search. That's a great title.
And this shows you exactly what I'm talking about with the meta description. It might not be a direct ranking factor, but come on, it's your sales pitch. A good one makes you want to click. A bad one or no description at all, you're just going to scroll right past it.
And please, please, do not sleep on internal links. They are so powerful. When you link from one page on your site to another, you're doing two things at once. You're helping people find more of your awesome content, and you're showing search engines how everything on your site is connected. You're basically building a map for both of them.
Okay, let's switch gears a little and look to the future. Because doing this stuff right isn't just about today's search results, it's about setting up your content for what's coming next with AI.
This quote right here is a total game changer. Think about it. AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, they're not just reading your page. They are actively looking for clear, well-structured pieces of information that they can pull out, summarize, and use in their answers. This means how you structure your page is more important than it has ever been.
So, how do you do it? Well, you can start by using subheadings that sound like questions people actually asked. Then, start that section with a direct, to-the-point answer.
Break your content into logical, bite-sized chunks. You're basically making your content easy for an AI to quote, which seriously increases your chances of getting cited.
All right, I know we've covered a ton of ground. So to wrap things up, let's focus on the quickest wins. The things you can do right now for the biggest, fastest impact, especially if you're kind of new to this.
If you're going to do anything today, start right here. First, just make sure Google can actually see your page. That's step 0. Then, make sure your main titles actually match what people are searching for. And finally, just add a few good internal links. It's simple, I know, but trust me, it is so incredibly effective.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. You have the model, you have the checklist, and you have the quickest wins.